Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we have some MCQs and food preservation. What is the primary purpose of food preservation? Extending shelf life, enhancing flavor, improving color, increasing nutritional content. The correct answer? Extending shelf life. Fermentation has many functions such as adding new flavor and texture to food, extending the shelf life of foods, making some nutrients more easily absorbed by the body, and providing an environment for probiotics to grow and reproduce. Which method of preservation involves removing water from food to inhibit microbial growth? Canning, dehydration, freezing, fermentation. The correct answer, dehydration. Dehydrating food is a preservation method used to extend the shelf life of your food by removing its water content. It is also one of the oldest and most widespread food preservation technique, outdating many other modern methodologies like canning and freezing technology. What is the purpose of adding salt to food during the preservation process? Inhibiting bacterial growth, enhancing flavor, improving texture, increasing vitamin content. The correct answer? Inhibiting bacterial growth. Salting is the method of preserving food that was more common before the modern refrigeration method. Salting preserves food by drawing water out of the food and preventing bacterial growth and spoiling the food. Which method of food preservation involves storing food in airtight containers and heating them to destroy microorganisms? Pickling, smoking, freeze drying, canning. Correct answer, canning. Preserving using a canning method involves placing food in a specific canning jar that are sealed with two-piece lids. The jar are heated to a temperature that destroying harmful microorganisms and inactivate spoilage raising enzymes. What is the role of vinegar in the pickling process? Adding sweetness, providing acidity, improving color, enhancing aroma. The correct answer, providing acidity. Vinegar is an acidic substance that functions act as a preservative. The vinegar is a strong acid like acetic acid, and when we used for pickling, it lower the pH of preserved food because just a few germs can grow at low pH environment. Vinegar aids in preservation. Which type of food preservation involves the use of high temperature to kill bacteria and enzymes? Freeze drying, fermentation, pasteurization, smoking. The correct answer, pasteurization. Pasteurization is a process by which milk is heated to a specific temperature for a set period of time to kill the harmful microbes which is presented in the milk and can lead to cause many diseases like listeriosis, typhoid fever, tuberculosis, diphtheria and brucellosis. What is a common method of preserving fruits by cooking them in sugar syrup? Jamming, freezing, blanching, candying. The correct answer, jamming. Jams and marmalades that preserves and conserve of fruit products preserved by sugar. These products differ in gel consistency, ingredients, and how the fruit is prepared. They are very easy to make at home. Jams are made from using crushed or ground fruit and usually have a thick consistency due to high pectin content of fruits. Which gas is commonly used in packaging to slow down the oxidation process and extend the shelf life of food? Carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, helium. The correct answer, nitrogen. Nitrogen is an inert gas and owing to its production process is typically relatively high purity. It is usually used for displacing air, especially atmospheric oxygen in food packaging. This prevents the oxidation of food and inhibit the growth of aerobic microorganisms. What is the primary purpose of adding sugar in the jam and jelly making process? Increasing sweetness, enhancing color, adding fiber, acting as a preservative. The correct answer, acting as a preservative. In addition to sweetening and helping with gel formation in regular jams and jellies and preserves, the sugar plays a very important role to prevent spoilage. The large amount of sugar present that reduce the available moisture for microbial growth. Which method of food preservation relies on the natural fermentation of sugar by microorganisms like bacteria and yeast? Fermentation, pickling, canning, freeze drying. The correct answer, fermentation. Fermentation is the breaking down of sugar molecules into simple compounds to produce the substance that can be used in making chemical energy. The chemical energy, typically in the form of ATP, is important as it drives various biological processes. The fermentation doesn't use oxygen, thus it is anaerobic condition. What is the primary purpose of blanching vegetables before freezing them? Inhibiting enzyme activity, enhancing flavor, destroying bacteria, improving texture. The correct answer, inhibiting enzyme activity. Blanching is scalding vegetables in boiling water or steam for a short time. It is typically followed by quick through cooling in very cold or ice water. So blanching stop enzyme action which otherwise cause loss of flavor, color and texture of the food. Which food preservation method involves the use of salt, nitrates and sometimes sugar to preserve meat? Smoking, salting, canning, freeze drying. The correct answer, salting. Salting is preservation of food with dry edible salt. It is related to pickling in general and more specifically to brining, also known as fermenting. That is preparing food with brine solution, that is salty water, and is one form of like a curing process. What is the purpose of using sulfur dioxide in the preservation of dried fruits? Enhancing flavor, improving color, increasing vitamin content, inhibiting microbial growth. The correct answer, inhibiting microbial growth. Sulfur dioxide can inhibit spoilage caused by microorganisms and extend the shelf life of food products. Other than its antimicrobial properties, sulfur dioxide is also an antioxidant that prevents drowning associated with oxidation in foods, particularly dried fruits and vegetables. Which method of food preservation involves the use of low temperature to prevent the growth of microorganisms? Freezing, pickling, smoking, canning. The correct answer, freezing. Freezing in food processing method of preserving food by lowering the temperature to inhibit microorganisms growth. What is the primary purpose of adding citric acid to canned foods? Inhibiting microbial growth, enhancing flavor, improving texture, increasing nutritional content. The correct answer, inhibiting microbial growth. Because of its acidity, sour tasting nature, citric acid is predominantly used as a flavoring and preserving agent, especially in soft drinks and candies. It is also used to stabilize or preserve medicine and act as a disinfectant. Which method of food preservation involves immersing food in hot fat or oil? Pickling, canning, smoking, deep frying. The correct answer, deep frying. The process involves submerging a food in extremely hot oil until it reaches a safe minimum internal temperature. When the food is deep fried properly, it will be hot and crispy on the outside and cooked safely in the center of that food. Deep frying is very fast and when performed properly, so it helps to destroy all the microorganism which is presented in the food. Which method of food preservation involves the use of a controlled amount of radiation to kill bacteria and parasites? Irradiation, freeze drying, canning, fermentation. The correct answer, irradiation. Irradiation, it is a process that happens after the food is exposed under the radiation. So when it is produced and packed, the food enter a chamber when it is exposed to a specific amount of radiation. The radiation penetrate inside of the food and kill all the unwanted or spoilage raising microorganisms and prevent them from multiplying. So after treated the food under radiation, the food is labeled as Radura symbol. What is the primary purpose of using a pressure canner in the canning process? Improving texture, enhancing flavor, inhibiting microbial growth, increasing nutritional content. The correct answer, inhibiting microbial growth. Pressure canners are used with low acid food prone to harboring harmful microorganisms. They heat food hotter than boiling water canner to kill off the microorganism. Low acid foods are those with a pH over 4.6. Most vegetable soups, stews, and meat sauce are low acid foods. Which method of food preservation involves immersing food in a solution of sugar and water? Braining, candying, smoking, dehydration. The correct answer, candying. Candied and waste fruits are made by slow impregnation of the fruit with sugar syrup until the concentration of sugar in the inner tissue is sufficiently high to prevent the growth of spoilage raising microorganisms. This candying process is conducted by treating the fruits with sugar syrup of progressively increasing the sugar in the inside tissue of the fruit. Why we are adding preservatives to foods? Preservatives are added to food to help prevent or slow the spoilage due to the bacteria, mold, fungi or yeast, as well as to slow or prevent changes in the food color, flavor and texture, and delaying rancidity and maintain the freshness of food. These include increased shelf life of the food and decreased hazard causing or microbial pathogens and decreased spoilage raising enzymes as well as microbial growth and inactivation of anti-nutritional factors and ensure round the year availability of seasonal foods and perishable foods that can be transported to far from the distance of the production site. Among the oldest method of preservation are drying, refrigeration and fermentation. So modern methods including canning, pasteurization, freezing, irradiation and the addition of chemicals. Advances in packaging material have played an important role in modern food preservation technology. Thank you.